Yes, it is. It is. So the New York team, they have a pretty good fly-off. They have quick hands. They play in the back line. The Wolves are more forward-heavy. They do a lot of forward stuff, and they're good at it. So,
Ottawa in blue, New York with possession. Moving the ball outside of their own 22, out to midfield, and you'll see the New York Village Lions. They'll try to move the ball wide, and they really like to utilize their speed. There's Jordan Bateman. The hooker gets out almost to midfield. There's New York trying to move the ball out wide. There's a little bit of a break inside. And the ruck forms. New York once again. Gisela Van moves the ball out. New York, a ball possession team. Jordan Bateman once again driving through, keeping the legs going. New York.
So fun fact about Jordan Bateman is she plays for an Ottawa team.
But she's playing for New York in this one. Ball moves out. Ottawa takes over possession after an offside, and they'll get a free kick. Actually, no, it's going to be an Ottawa scrum just inside the New York half of midfield. The ball for this Amanda Cup final presented by Amanda Mark, who was Mark Bingham's roommate at the time on that fateful Tuesday morning in September of 2001. Ball is out. Ottawa preparing. Now they try to move it back outside. Big push forward. Roberta Prumman keeps the legs going. Finally brought to ground. Ruck forming. Ball is loose. New York comes up with it. Raquel Gutierrez. Fake one side, go back the other, and New York advances the ball a couple of meters. The battle. Leanne Nappy in there for Ottawa as that ruck forms, and finally the whistle goes to stop it. Those are situations where injuries tend to accumulate, right, Sophie?
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, it's actually the Wolves that killed my shoulder the other day, so.
Sophie playing for the team from Amsterdam that won this tournament 4 years ago, and COVID really threw a wrench into the plans of everything in the world, including this Bingham Cup. It'll be an Ottawa scrum just on the New York side of midfield. Ball's out. And a quick transition. The ball is loose. Overrunning it. There's Zoe Newman. Ruck forming now at the 10-meter line. Ball pops loose into the hands of Florence Grenapin. Ottawa continuing to battle. Cassidy Hartley moved it up. Here's Grenapin once again. All the way to the outside. Ottawa trying to get some movement and some space. That one, Illy Roldan Stack taken down. And a quick burst upfield. Have the women's games been traditionally high scoring, or is it more about control and a penalty goal might win it?
Yeah, it's actually been the last game they played against each other. It was actually really tight, so 1 or 2 tries difference. And so have been most games during the tournament.
How do the 20-minute halves really get in your head? Because if you get down a couple of tries in a regular 40-minute half, an 80-minute game, you've got an opportunity to get back in it. In a 20-minute half, a 40-minute game, it's really, really difficult. You have to score and score quickly.
Yeah, you feel like it's getting a bit panicky for some sides if it's really tight, especially in the last 10 minutes, because you only did like 70. You only been playing for half an hour and you're already almost done. So you'll see like more forward play in the last 10 minutes, while the first 10 everybody wants to play wide and get in the game, but.
Kind of like a boxing match where you just feel out your opponent for the first couple of rounds.
Exactly.
So it'll be a line out here, and it'll be a New York line out. How important are these situations in a final of such short duration? Special teams really make a difference.
Yes, and I feel like none of the set pieces of all the teams are really, really strong.
There's a pick! Number 22, and she's in!
That's
Roberta Drummond goes in for the try. Roberta Drummond, what an absolutely heads-up play to step in, pick off the ball, and run back about 50 meters for the try, and Ottawa up 5-0 with the convert to come. We're going to try and get another look at such great anticipation from Roberta Drummond as she just stepped up in that seam, picked up the ball, and nobody was going to touch her. And what a great opportunity to convert here. And it's going to be Drummond converting as well. Here's directly in front of the posts. Kick is up, and it's through. 7-0 Ottawa. Amsterdam won the first Amanda Cup. Wasn't official 4 years ago, but does the home team have an advantage in this tournament?
I think they have actually also brought the most players, which is easy because it's in Ottawa, So I feel like they also have the most opportunity to take a breath after doing a big sprint.
So Rebecca Drummond, 7. The New York Village Lions, no score. The try and the convert in Ottawa leads 7-0. Not on our monitor. Ottawa gets the ball back. Nadine drives forward, ball's loose, and Ottawa has possession again. Rubber, and they go after it. And the ball knocked on. And Drummond goes over the top, so it'll be New York possession. Watch, you'll see. Oh no, they tried to get it out on the full, and a great play by Leanne Nappy to keep the ball in play, and now New York in a hole deep inside their own zone. Allison Bear trying to weave her way through the Ottawa defense, and Ottawa in really good position here, leading 7-0. And even though New York has possession of the ball, they still have about 90 meters to go to score. And such a physical sport, you can see now some of these players are a little slow getting to their feet after rucks and stoppages in play. So it'll be a line out after New York kicks the ball out on the full. Ottawa up 7-0 on a try and a convert from Rebecca Drummond. Roberta Drummond, excuse me. And those of you who are watching us locally, no, and a steal there. Ottawa winning every battle. There's a nice offload there for Cassidy Hartley. Gets to the New York 22. Back once again, Hartley drops the shoulder. Drummond trying to get inside. The New York 22 does. The ruck forms. Ball's loose. And Ottawa once again getting out Laura Dalgy. Drives forward with a little help from their friends. New York steals. And they try to get the ball to the outside. Now here's a little bit of room. And a burst of speed there. Catherine Pinallo taken down, but New York out of the shadow of their posts. And Leanne Nappy goes down out of bounds. And it's a free kick for Ottawa. Roberta Drummond. We'll try to get this on the angle and get a 5-meter line out. That goes all the way down. That'll be a 22-meter drop. So the ball will come out after Ottawa unable to take advantage of that, but the angle was a little too acute, wasn't it, Sophie, to get it out on the full?
Yeah, and there isn't that much wind, but you know, sometimes it just hits wrong on the foot.
Yeah. Another block, and Ottawa continues to get all the breaks here in the first half. That ball knocked on. And it will be a New York scrum just outside their own 22. So are you surprised by what you've seen so far, Sophie?
No, it's actually what we expected. I think New York plays a little more forward play than we initially thought, but it's going to be a tight game. Exciting stuff.
New York in tough here. They came into this final with a 4-0 record. Ottawa with a 3-1 round robin record to get to this final. And the ball comes loose. Ottawa has it. Drummond goes to the outside. A little cut back inside to the 22. New York with a steal. Allison Bear drops the shoulder, pushes forward. Has to be considered a bit of a surprise to see Ottawa hemming the New York Village Lions inside their own territory for most of this first half.
Yeah, and funny thing is, the New York Lions only joined IGR last year, so this is their first Bingham Cup as well.
Nice run by scrum half Brenda Doctor, getting all the way back out to midfield. And another run forward. Rock forming. Official right there, and full marks to the official for allowing these two teams to play. Doctor gets it to the outside. There's Precious Cummings taking a more circuitous route And stepping out of bounds at the far side are the New York Village Lions. And an injury out there, Leanne Nappy getting some attention. And boy, when you lose one of your props in a final of a major tournament, that's a huge loss.
She's a great tactic player as well, so I think they're gonna miss her if they need to take her off. She's got a lot of experience. I played actually in a game with her in Lanark a few months ago, and she came on the pitch and she just started shouting what we had to do, and it was great. And like a talkative player like that knows what she's talking about, you need that in your game if you have a lot of rookies on your squad.
Perhaps we should give the folks at home a little bit of background on you, too. You are from the Netherlands, and you have been in Ottawa for the last 2 months preparing for this tournament. What has your role been, and how has your experience in Canada been?
Yeah, so I play for the Amsterdam Lowlanders, and I flew back in 2 months ago to play rugby here. So I actually play with the OBB RFC, and there's 3 people from that squad that are now playing for the New York Lions, and the coach of the New York Lions also has a history with this club. To keep myself fit, and yeah, the experience in Canada has been great. Everybody's nice. It's like the Dutch people, if they're too nice to you, they don't like you, and if they're being a bitch, that you made new friends, and I love that. It's it's definitely been great.
If they're too nice to you, they don't like you. Beautiful. So now the maul forms off that line out. Cassidy Hartley driving forward. About a little over 3 minutes in unofficial time in this first half. A little offload there, and an opportunity for Ottawa to maintain possession. And here's Precious Cummings with a burst of speed trying to get through. And I guess Cummings' shoulder hit the outside line, the out-of-bounds line, so it'll be a line out here. And it will be an Ottawa line out. Number 16, Claudia Chandra, will play the ball in. And Ottawa has had the majority of success in these set pieces so far in this Amanda Cup final. But New York controls off the line out. Jordan Bateman goes forward, and she's pushed out.
I feel like you can already see on the faces that the heat is doing its work. They're getting tired, sloppy a little bit.
Well, yesterday, in the second game, which began at 10:30 in the morning, they were taking water breaks in 20-minute halves, and unheard of. It was just so warm, 40 degrees with the Humidex yesterday, and we were expecting rain all day today, but there's hardly a cloud in the sky here at the Hornets' Nest in the east end of the nation's capital of Ottawa, Canada. So if you're watching from around the world, it's a beautiful day here in Ottawa. Ottawa controlling off the line out, and then move it wide. Roberta Drummond hit up there by Brenda Doctor, and then Ottawa trying to move once again. Just one error, really, so far in this match, Sophie, and it cost the New York Village Lions a try and a conversion.
Yeah, it wasn't even per se like a big error. It was just very, very well read by Roberta Drummond. It was a great interception.
The ball right at the midfield stripe.
See, like everybody holding their knees and crouching a little bit to catch a breath in the small moments of peace before the next scrum.
Well, with 10 seconds of unofficial time remaining in this opening half. They'll get an opportunity to get a bit of a rest and get some hydration, which is so important in situations like this.
It's a nice steal.
And a steal picked up there by Emily Latano and Roberta Drummond. Or make that Florence Grenape. Moves it forward. Ottawa with the majority of the play so far. Illy Roldan Stack forms the ruck. Back to the outside. Grenape. Trying to get to the outside. There's a nice offload right into the hands of Ray LeDuc. And over the top against New York. Free kick for Ottawa. And they waste no time. Emily Latano. All the way back out. Laura Dolgi moving forward. And the Ottawa fans really, really loving every moment of this one so far. Behind their women. Big push there by Cassidy Hartley. About 8 meters out.
You see here again that the rucks are sloppy from the Wolves side. Support is late, they keep tumbling over. New York is making advantage of it.
Referee urging them to play on. And it will be an Ottawa scrum. Some instructions. And it's a water break. Is this the halftime break?
I think there's an injury going on.
There is an injury to the New York Village Lions. We'll try to get you a number. I think it's Jordan Bateman. Jordan Bateman has been busy in this first half for New York, carrying the ball, and in that hooker position, you get a lot of work.
Given the fact that she tore her hamstring 2 months ago playing a beer league softball game, I think she's doing great on the pitch.
Ouch.
Yes, you play rugby and then you injure yourself.
Playing softball. Well, the New York Village Lions in tough, so they're going to go into the halftime break. What kind of adjustments do you think they have to make in the second half in order to get back into this one?
I think they need some changes in their packs given the set pieces. So they've been really good on the ball, good on the rucks. They're winning most of the rucks. They're finding the borders, you know. They sometimes get penalized for it, but mostly it gives them penalties, or at least the advantage. But their set pieces, they're losing almost all of them.
How do you shore that up in such a short break?
Sometimes a clap on the back can help. Like, get your head in the game, you know?
Yeah.
It's some small adjustments in communication.
My father used to call it something different. Ottawa still with possession, dominating the New York Village Lions here in the Samantha Cup final. There's Cassidy Hartley. And over the top, ruck forms playing the advantage. So it will be an Ottawa scrum. And this is a 6 meter scrum, so I would imagine that you'd work on a play that you worked on for 5 meter scrums, and in this position, they're going to do that and try to get another score before the half.
It's really important for New York to keep the scrum.
New York scrum. Ball's in. Referee didn't like the way that scrum was engaged, so he'll have them set up once again. Just one bit of scoring in this opening half. Roberta Drummond with a beautiful interception and a 45-meter run to pay dirt, and then she converted the try to add insult to injury. Scrum's engaged. Ball's in. New York has it, and they try to get it out. They do on the full, but it's inside the 22. It'll be an Ottawa lineout. And we are well into time beyond the 20 minutes originally scheduled for this first half. There's the ball. And again, a little sloppy. And are they going to try it again, or is it a scrum?
I think it's a scrum.
It is a scrum. So scrum again, just outside the 5-meter line, and the New York Village Lions have been working under the shadow of their own goalposts for most of this first half. And you know the coaching staff is going to have something to say about that at the break.
I always wonder what happens with other teams in their circles, you know?
Precious Cummings getting outside with a good burst of speed. Offloads to Pinallo. Catherine Pinallo unable to make a play. Annika Lamb with it. Offloads into the hands of Allison Bear. There's a nice cut up the seam there by the number 8, Meg Collins. Big push. And again, the Wolves continue to press forward. Laura Dalgy. They try to get it to the outside. A one hopper into the hands of Sam Rowe. And they're taken down. Referee in discussions with the New York Village Lions.
I think he's explaining the last play on the penalty, but it stays in.
Nice play by Leanne Nappy. That's the second time in this one. Keeping the ball in play on attempts to get the ball out on the full. And looks like she's favoring that right ankle. And that is the half. Ottawa in control of this Amanda Cup final as part of the 2022 Bingham Cup. They lead it 7-0 at the break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with the second half after these words.
Gabriel Pizza, proud supporter of local sports. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at gabrielpizza.com.
This is Rogers TV, Ottawa.
It's the 2022 Bingham Cup, and this is the Amanda Cup final. And the Ottawa Wolves, the host team, leading the New York Village Lions by a score of 7-0. Dan Mooney alongside Sophie Bastianson. And this has been a bit of a surprise. New York the favorite coming into this final. And Roberta Drummond really taking control of that opening half.
Yeah. I think the Wolves are way more in the game with their heads, and the Lions aren't doing what they're good at yet. So they got some speed in the back line, and they haven't made use of it a lot. And hopefully we'll see a little more of that this second half.
They're going to have to make some pretty substantial adjustments because the Ottawa defense has kept New York on their side of midfield for most of that first half. I think New York may have gotten over Ottawa's side of midfield maybe once.
Yes, and the captain of the Wolves actually instructed their team to only have 2 beers yesterday. So that might have made the difference between this game and the game they played on Friday against each other.
Maybe they need more beer.
Oh.
So, New York will give the ball to the Ottawa Wolves to begin this second half. Ottawa's defense, very strong. This is Brenda Doctor. And we are underway. The second half of the Amanda Cup final is underway. Aurora McLaughlin gets the ball out. There's Roberta Drummond. And a penalty against Ottawa. Will be New York ball. And a free kick. Now, if they had a kicker, this would be a good opportunity to go at goal and get some points on the board.
Yes, it would, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to go for the strong and steady points. But their set pieces haven't been won a lot of times, so it's an interesting choice. Or they might play in. Oh, they're going for the kick.
And it stays in. There's Leanne Nappy once again keeping the ball alive, and it'll be a line out inside the Ottawa 22, and by far this New York's deepest penetration of this match. Leanne Nappy a little upset at being pushed out and then having the line out go against the Ottawa Wolves. Referee making sure that the line out is set. Ball is in. And the ruck forms. Ottawa continues to drive forward outside the 22. There's Hartley. Brings it back. Ottawa trying to control. They do. Nice run by Ray Ladoc. Ball's out.
Nice
and Roberta Drummond with a great kick for field position, sending Caitlin Davis all the way back to her own 10-meter line. Here's Davis. Gets it out. And the ball knocked on, and Ottawa dodging a bit of a bullet there.
It's great to see how Drummond is using her boot to the advantage of the team, because every kick she's made, they've gained so much meters.
Do you see much of a kicking game at this level?
Depends. You just need one good kicker and a few fast players, and they got speed in the back three at the Wolves, so I think they're really using advantage of it. they're able to chase it down the entire field. They're fit, some of them.
I didn't say it.
And they're using it, so that's great to see.
Yeah, they're in great shape, especially on days like this. 30-degree temperatures, a little bit warmer with the humidex, and I'm certain that you've recognized the humidity in Ottawa since you've been here the last couple of months, Sophie. Not like that in Amsterdam.
No, well, we don't really play rugby over the summer. We play tournaments when we're hungover, and then life isn't too great anyway. But I forgot that, I was like, Ottawa, kind of same temperatures as back home. It will be fine. But then I forgot I do have to play rugby here in degrees of 30 degrees and stuff. And it's heavy. It's heavy.
So an Ottawa scrum inside New York territory. This is the way that the Ottawa game plan was drawn up. Ball possession. The other team can't score if they don't have the ball.
Exactly, first thing you need.
Ottawa going wide. Here's Drummond. Drummond hits the seam once again. Inside the 22, offloads. And that ball knocked on. But another great burst of speed. Roberta Drummond really establishing her presence in this Amanda Cup final. So the scrum just outside the New York Village Lions 22. Ottawa leading 7-0. The only scoring coming about the midway point in the first half. An interception and a 45-meter run by Roberta Drummond, and then she converted the try to make it 7-0.
They're doing some explaining on the bind of the flanker. A rugby tournaments, you always see like players getting in new positions.
Well, in tournaments, especially when you go in with, I guess, less than your full roster, everybody's got to be a little bit more versatile.
Exactly.
New York. Brenda Doctor picked up the ball, and it's going to be an Ottawa free kick. And with Roberta Drummond and her ability, why not go for goal?
I think they want to double the points. I think they're going to go for a line out and do a maul and drive it over.
See whether or not the Wolves can be successful.
Oh,
there's Drummond with the take. Offload for Grenape. Grenape drives forward. Ottawa still with possession. Ruck forms about 5 meters out. Here's Hartley driving forward. They're stopped. Nice tackle inside. Here's Drummond once again, drops the shoulder. Ottawa trying to get it through. Letondo moves in about 3 meters out. Now they're about a meter out. Ottawa once again. Ray LeDoc moves in. Can they get the ball down? Nope. And play finally called. And it'll be a 5-meter scrum.
I think he called a penalty, though, for an earlier advantage he played.
Okay. So, Roberta Drummond, 5 meters out. And this will just about, if Ottawa's able to get in, and they do! That will just about seal the New York Village Lions' fate. Ottawa leads at 12-0.
Yeah, it was a great hit from Ray LeDuc. Right over the try line.
Ray LeDuc moves in 12-0 Ottawa. And again, Roberta Drummond prepared to convert. And this is a chip shot for her.
I think so. It would be a nice score ahead with like a bit more than 10 minutes to go, 2 tries up. It's a great position to play a final in.
Now, we've all played sports all our lives. We know that you can get a little set in your ways and perhaps a little too comfortable. Is this enough of a lead for Ottawa to carry it through?
Well, we saw the first score from Drummond was a slight error. Like the Lions can do it too. I think they might get in their own heads though. Like losing is always a worst position to play a game in.
And Drummond puts that one right through the middle. 14-0 Ottawa. And they are in perhaps the best position to take this Amanda Cup final, the inaugural Amanda Cup final in the Bingham tournament. And we should probably talk about the influx of people that came into the nation's capital for this tournament in the last week. 7,000 people, 1,700 athletes, and an economic impact to the city of Ottawa to the tune of $10 million plus.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like you've seen the streets filled with rugby players. Byward, Elgin, Somerset even. There have been huge parties on the street, and
it really is a unique community, isn't it? The rugby community?
Yeah, like the rugby community itself is already very inclusive. Like I experienced, there might be other experiences, but as far as I've experienced, and this is an inclusive tournament, it's even, the feelings are even stronger. I've met so many people of just like 5 days, and I feel like friends already, so that's very special.
Ottawa continuing to drive forward, Laura Dalgy. And you know that when you're up 14-0 in a game like this, you're pumped. All the way to the outside. Cummings loses the ball. And Ottawa continuing to exert their dominance over the New York Village Lions at this point in the Amanda Cup final with a little less than 9 minutes of unofficial time on the clock. There's a seam, and New York, there's the offload for Cummings. Ball's knocked on. And Cummings had an opportunity, but what a great break there for the Ottawa Wolves as number 12, Annika Lamb, had the seam offloaded to Precious Cummings, trying to get the ball to speed. But it just didn't work out. What a break for Ottawa. So they are taking water breaks. It's getting a little warm out there on the pitch. So they are making sure that these players are hydrated. When you're out there and you're in an intense game like this, there's a ton of running, especially if you're playing a full 80. What are you losing? About 5, 6, 7 pounds a game, and then you have to sort of replenish afterwards?
Yeah, I think so. It depends a little bit on the, because there's quite some breaks. Like if there's a lot of scrums or lineouts, you have a little bit more time to rest again. But there are definitely games where you lose a lot of, there's a lot of running, a lot of hard work. And since both teams are doing a lot of forward play, a lot of rucks, a lot of contact, it's warm out there.
Yeah. The Ottawa Wolves, certainly the underdog coming into this Amanda Cup final. With a 3-1 record, New York were officially undefeated in the tournament coming into this final. But Ottawa has dominated this.
I hope they can get themselves in the game again, because that break was a risky one.
Karamali Faye out there for the first time for New York. Ottawa controlling off the scrum. Drummond with the boot, sending Caitlin Davis back in an Ottawa bounce. Brings Davis all the way back inside her own 22. Davis trying to get some room, offloads that one. There's some room. Ruck forms. Annika Lamb goes to the blind side. And again, a good push. And New York getting all the way back out. Karamala Faye on the outside. There's a good run. Allison Bear. Still some life left in these Lions.
They've smelt the meters. They're ready for the try.
A little over 5 minutes remaining in unofficial time. Nice run there, Doctor. Here's Doctor. Brenda Doctor cuts back inside, and a wonderful defensive play by Grenape to cut her off. Allison Bear. And there's Leanne Nappy, and you can tell that she's really favoring that right foot that they injured in the first half. But trying to pull them out of the game at this point. Not happening. This is a championship, and I want to win a championship.
Exactly. And Nappy's been around rugby for a long time. She, you take the pain.
It's Leanne Napierkowski. I've actually worked with her. She has been in the position you're in right now.
I feel honored.
Calling rugby. And another water break. And an injury timeout here as Cassidy Hartley gets some attention from the training staff.
Yeah, they already have a nice blue mark on their face from the game yesterday, but I think this might be it for the tournament.
Oh, Hartley being helped off. And a big round of applause from the entire Ottawa Wolves squad. Ottawa in control, the ball at the 22. Ottawa will have possession as New York doing their utmost to try to get back into this Amanda Cup final. Amanda Mark is in attendance. She will present the Amanda Trophy, and Amanda Mark, the roommate of Mark Bingham, on that fateful 9/11 day 21 years ago.
Yeah, it's special to have had her around at this tournament. You've seen everybody's been talking to her, and her energy is great. It's special to be around someone that has such a big heart for a sport she doesn't even play, but just in memory of her dear friend.
New York controlling off the line out. Gisela Van moves it out. Faye for Doctor. for Lamb all the way to the outside. There's Precious Cummings taken to ground. Ball goes to the blind side and out of bounds. It will be an Ottawa line out. And they trying to kill some time now?
I don't know. The Wolves might be. They know they're at this point the players on the pitch are a little less fit than the Lions. You definitely have seen a switch since Vase came on the pitch.
Just take your time. Take your time. Eat up some clock.
Exactly. Everybody on the pitch knows all the tricks there.
Off the line out, New York controls. And the ball bouncing forward, and the knock-on call.
What is noticeable is that in the first half, the Wolves really dominated all the set pieces. They stole some balls from the scrums and the lineouts, and now the past two lineouts, they've lost the ball. They're getting a little out of it. I'm curious what the scrum is going to do.
It's a little long and a little late in this one, and perhaps their attention is not nearly as acute as it is at the early stages of a match.
Oh, I think they can already smell the third half in the cup, and they're ready for it.
There'll be a few beverages consumed out of that trophy tonight. And that not done correctly, so they'll do it again.
The ball came straight out of the channel. It needs to go past the feet of the front row, before it officially can get out.
Emily Letourneau getting set to put the ball in. Scrum's engaged. Ball's in. And back out. Ottawa trying to go wide once again. Roberta Drummond sends Caitlin Davis all the way back to her own 22. Davis with a good run upfield. Davis with some speed. Davis cutting back in. Caitlin Davis could go all the way. Caitlin Davis finally brought down by Latano. What a run by Davis from her own 22 to 10 meters out.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's really dangerous. Very nice play.
Annika Lamb pushes forward. New York trying to get on the board here. Lamb driving forward to the 5-meter line. But how does Caitlin Davis get that kind of room, or manufacture that kind of room to go from her own 22 to 10 meters out, back on equal terms? Here's another look at the Caitlin Davis run to set up the New York try. Davis with some great moves inside.
Like, they're all scattered around, there's no line, and she steps inside and she's just too quick. It's eventually a combination of Emily and Florence who take her down.
This will be a really difficult convert attempt.
And they already have issues finding the tee. Officially they have 90 seconds, so they have plenty of time, but
Annika Lamb, or make that Allison Bayer, will attempt to convert this try, and this is an important conversion attempt. They're down 14-5. And this will go unrewarded, and Ottawa leads by 9. And maybe that kick at goal earlier might have been a reasonable strategy for New York to consider.
Yeah, I think they maybe underestimated the Wolves. They won the last time, and I think they would beat them on fitness in the end, but turns out the games are maybe a bit too short to play.
There's Leanne Napierkowski directly in front of us wearing number 1. A veteran of the Ottawa rugby community, and she's a high school teacher and coaches rugby at the high school level as well.
Yeah, and she set up a club, the Jacks, and they are an inclusive club to people who are neurodivergent, and they started it last year.
Fantastic. Now, you've played other sports in your native country of the Netherlands. Is rugby perhaps the most inclusive sport that you participated in?
I think so. Definitely on the women's side. I can't really talk for the men's side, but yes, it has been. It's been different. I also feel like rugby is not just a sport; it's a lifestyle, and it always sounds kind of arrogant when people say it, but once you experience it, you know it's true.
Oh, good push forward there, Annika Lamb, as New York is not giving up. No quit in these New York Village Lions. Ottawa with possession now. Great tackle. Open field tackle there on Lauren Ox.
The Lions aren't ready to give up yet. But
they are not, but we've got an injured Ottawa Wolf on the pitch, and ball goes into touch. Caitlin Davis has it, and I'm not sure.
I think it's the captain, Emily, is on the ground.
Emily Latano?
Yes.
Emily Latano has played remarkably well for the Wolves in this tournament. That'll be a big loss as a scrum half.
Yeah, I don't think they can miss her, so I think she's just seeing if it's good enough to go.
Not sure how much longer this game will go. We were scheduled for 2 20-minute halves, but there have been some injury timeouts and water breaks to make sure that these players stay hydrated on such a warm day. It turned out to be a beautiful day with a ton of rain in the forecast. There's hardly a cloud in the sky here in the nation's capital of Canada.
One of the officials just signed me. There's 5 minutes left on the clock. So that's plenty of time for a score for the Lions. So
Sophie, you know everybody. You got your finger on the pulse of the nation.
It's the social part of rugby that makes it inclusive too, right?
Well, that's one of the beauties of this sport, is that wherever in the world you go, if you play rugby and you run into another rugby player, you're having a pint. Great run by Precious Cummings, cutting back inside. Offloads there for Brenda Doctor. Doctor with the fake. She sends it off, and it's picked off there by Claudia Chandra. Ruck forms. And over the top. But what a great run by the New York Village Lions. Precious Cummings using great speed, and here's Brenda Doctor to Faye. Faye to the outside. It's Raquel Gutierrez. Gutierrez moves that forward to about 5 meters out. Out to the outside, Annika Lamb, and the try is awarded. New York back within 4. But again, another difficult conversion attempt coming.
But even if they don't make the conversion, they're only down 4 points, so it's still 1 try difference.
14-10. It's a one-possession game. Ottawa with a 14-0 lead. New York has come back to get within 4. Now.
And they're finally doing their strong play. They're using the backs, they're using the speed, they're getting the ball out there. I think the Lions remembered how to play their game again.
Might be too little, too late, but convert goes awry, and it is a one-possession game. Curious to wish I knew how much time was left on the clock. Probably in the area of 3.5 minutes, but the only clock that really matters at this point is on the wrist of the referee.
Exactly. And a lot can happen in 3 minutes. We just saw a whole shift of the game in, I think, about 7 minutes.
So what does Ottawa do to stop the bleeding here?
I feel like their fitness is giving up on them. They're scattered around, they're not defending in one line. Their wall has been broken a little. They're getting in their own heads now because they feel, I would feel a little anxious after 2 scores like that against me. They have to get their mindset good again. Because even if they would get the chance to do a penalty kick for the post later in the game, secure the score a little more, but
offside against the Wolves. Not sure what the signal is here.
We're going to go for a scrum.
It'll be a New York scrum as a result of the offside. So Ottawa doing everything they possibly can to allow the Village Lions back in this.
Some Wolves growls along the sidelines to support their home team.
Gisela Van sends it in, scrum wheels. All the way back out, Brenda Doctor has it. Doctor for Lamb. Lamb goes forward. Ruck forms. Ball's out, here's Van. Cuts up. Taken down by Letourneau. And injured Ottawa Wolf.
I think that's Nadine. She's also actually the president of the Ottawa Wolves. Also goes by the name of Nancy, after a drag queen misspelled her name.
The right knee wrapped up considerably, and I think that was probably giving her that little trouble there.
We always make the joke, right? How more tape you have, like it are like rings of the trees. You can measure how old somebody is.
That's good. There's Doctor, wrapped up. Faye goes wide. Picked up by Precious Cummings. A great burst of speed on the outside. And Cummings gets to the Ottawa 22. Big push up front, Jackie Sinclair.
It's a sloppy knock on.
Ball knocked on. And that's it! The New York Village Lions run out of time, and the Ottawa Wolves are the 2022 Amanda Cup champions.
I think that knock-on saved their asses though, because the Lions were under them, but
the home team prevails in the 2022 Bingham Cup. The Amanda Cup champions are the Ottawa Wolves. What a great match. Sophie Bastianson, was it everything that you thought it might be?
I think it could have been a little tighter, but the last 15 minutes were definitely the play I expected. We got the nerves, we got the chills. It was exciting. It was tight. It was good for a first official Amanda Cup.
If you were to consider a player of the match, where would you go?
I think on the Ottawa side, I would definitely go for Roberta Drummond. Her kicks made the difference for their side.
Kicks made the difference. A try and 2 conversions, and Roberta Drummond, the player of the match, leading the Ottawa Wolves to an Amanda Cup Championship here at the 2022 Bingham Cup. For Sophie Bastianson and her entire Rogers TV crew, I'm Dan Mooney. Thanks so much for the company. So long from the Hornet's Nest. Ottawa reigns supreme.
This is Rogers TV, Ottawa.
Welcome to the Hornet's Nest for the 2022 Bingham Cup. This is the Bingham Plate Championship. Dan Mooney alongside Gareth Longley. And these two teams, San Diego and Dublin, the Armada versus the Warriors. This is North America versus Europe, isn't it, Gareth?
It is indeed.
So what kind of match are you expecting from these two teams' convergent styles?
I've not seen much from the Armada, but the Warriors tend to be quite good up front, and then they've got a couple of good players on the wings. So I probably hope to see them get it out wide and bash it up the channel first, and then get it out wide.
Dublin in green, surprise, surprise, and the San Diego Armada in black. Here at the 2022 Bingham Cup, this is the Bingham Plate, which would, I would expect, be the B Championship there, picked up by Tony Manchuka. And all the way to the outside. 2 20-minute halves here in this Bingham Plate Championship. And it will be...
I actually think it's 25 minutes for the finals.
25 for the finals?
Yeah, 25-minute halves.
Well, thanks for that clarification, Gareth. It will be an Ireland scrum. Dublin, the Dublin Emerald Warriors. Stephen Cawley sets the ball in. And Dublin trying to go wide. Nice little flip there. And a good open field tackle that leaves the ball just outside the San Diego 22. Little flip there for Gary Gaughan. Here's Ireland. Noel Riley blasts forward. Dublin continuing to pursue. Paulo Santos, Calwante.
Yeah, they're through. They're through.
They're through. 19 in there. Can he touch it down? He does! And Ireland, Dublin, opens the scoring here in the Bingham Plate. Patrick Doyle gives Dublin a 5-0 lead with the conversion attempt to come, and we got an injury already early. You know, these guys are going at it pretty good out there. There are going to be bumps and bruises all afternoon.
There certainly are, and after 4 days of play as well, it's really tough on the body. These shorter games actually are quite intense. Not the full 80 minutes, but it's 40 minutes, well, 50 minutes in the finals of really, really intense rugby.
first impressions leave a very, very dominant picture in your mind. And yesterday, when these teams were going through the round robin portion of the tournament, they're hammering each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got to go hard or go home. If I was a betting man, I'd probably say Dublin to win today.
And the conversion is good from
Really
the wide
good.
side. The posts are very narrow from over there.
They certainly are. Yeah, not too bad from the 22.
So 7-0 Dublin, and is this something that was expected from the Irish boys?
Yeah, the Irish boys are good. They're one of the best in Europe. Certainly in the top 3 in Europe, I'd say. I've not seen much of the Armada this tournament, to be honest with you, so I've not seen how they've played, but they're here, so they must be good.
Is this a qualification tournament? Do you have to actually qualify to get here?
No, it's done on seedings mainly, so it depends on how people have done in previous tournaments. This one, obviously the Bingham, and then you've got the US tournaments and the European tournaments, the Union Cup. So they're seeded based on previous rankings, and
now these aren't club teams, are they?
they are club teams. Yeah. So these guys play. I think they've got 2 or 3 teams now. The Emerald Warriors. A few of our guys from Manchester have been playing with them as well to help them out on the second team. And I think we've got one of our guys on potentially from Manchester playing for them today for the ones.
Free kick for Dublin, and they get it into touch on the full, and it'll be a Dublin line out. They have controlled this one from the opening kickoff thus far. We've yet to see San Diego break out.
Yeah, they're looking quite cool, aren't they? Not panicked at all. They're just playing their own game. But it is really hot out there. It's really humid as well, so it's really difficult to play in in this weather. Really, it's deceptively hot.
Well, the officiating crews will stop things down to get water breaks and make sure that these players stay hydrated, because that's the one thing that you really want to avoid on days like this.
Absolutely, yeah. So it looks like an Armada scrum.
Well, San Diego in tough in the early going here, down 7-0 already to the Dublin Emerald Warriors in green. This is the Bingham Plate, the Bingham Cup final is next. San Diego controls off the scrum into the hands of Fiatha Kya. Joe Scott with the offload, and the ruck forming once again. Scott gets it out off the head of George Petrucci, and Dublin now trying to take advantage of the turnover.
Yeah, he's going to get the knock on. So it's going to be a Dublin scrum.
Scott Hyland, number 24. And this will be another scrum at midfield. It'll be a Dublin scrum. And
I think they're going to go wide here, looking at how they're set up on the wing.
trying to get the ball outside to utilize speed. Ball's out. Into the hands of Orange Sweeney. To the outside. Gone. Gary gone.
As
it's strolling from him. And ball knocked on. So
It looked backwards to me, but the referee's the one in charge.
Did he call that a forward pass?
I think he called it a knock-on, yeah.
I thought it was a knock-on. And the Dublin Emerald Warriors, sponsored by the Bank of Ireland.
This will be a big push now. If Ireland can get a nudge on, they might win this.
San Diego scrum. Joe Scott sets it in. Digs it out. They're going to try and go wide. Open field tackle by Paul Kelly. Another drive forward as Kieran Dwyer was taken to ground. Ireland, Dublin with it now to the outside. Nice cut back inside there by Oren Sweeney.
Yeah, they're going to drive this through now. A couple of forwards phases and back to setting up on the outside. Kick up.
Sweeney gets it down. Ball bounces.
Oh, it's
and it'll be a 22-meter drop. So just didn't get the Irish bounce there.
No, not the look of the Irish on that one, was it?
So now, San Diego, the Armada has been forced into a defensive position by the Irish aggressive tactics from the outset of the opening kickoff. How do they answer that?
I don't know. It's difficult. If you can't get that momentum to start off with, you've got to really just get your head down and try and play your own game and not worry about what the opposition are doing. Actually, they're going for a scrum, so because it went dead, it's a scrum from where they kicked. So it's an Armada scrum. These scrums look fairly evenly matched. There's not a huge amount of movement on there.
Joe Scott gets it out, and the kicking game coming into play. Ball picked up there by Paul Kelly. He's tripped up by Fabiano Sarmento.
That's an interesting call from the referee because he was off his feet there.
Tony Williams.
Penalty for Armada.
And now they'll get it going.
So Anthony Williams for the kick.
He'll kick this into touch in the full and try and get the line out deep in Dublin territory. There's the kick into touch on the full, just outside the 22. And a water break. And this is something that we're going to see quite a bit of, probably two each half.
Yeah,
just in order to fight off the humidity here.
Yeah, they need the water on board. It's very, very easy to to not have enough in the tank.
So Dublin ahead 7-0 here in the early going of this Bingham Plate. 12:29 gone, but that is an unofficial clock. But San Diego realizing that they're in tough, but showing a lot of pluck here after an initial setback.
Yeah, I think they look to be dominating this last bit, and they've got the 22. There's the line on 22. So let's see if they can capitalize on this.
This would be big in order to set the tone for the second half of this Bingham Plate. If they were able to get a try here.
Yeah, psychologically it'd mean a lot as well, just to even things up a little bit. Chasing a 2-point lead is obviously a lot easier than chasing a 7-point lead.
Scott off the line out. Tries to make a couple of moves. Wrapped up. Couldn't get outside. Matthew Adame. Forward. Ruck forms and over the top. And it's going against Dublin.
Yeah.
And why don't they kick it goal here?
They probably want to get the 5 points rather than the 3.
But the 3 would establish something. They get on the board. They go for the line out, and they're going to get the 5-meter line out. They want a try.
Yeah, the last line out was good, so, you know, they're backing themselves. I think this will probably catch the ball and drive over, maul and drive, I'd imagine, from here. Looks about 7 meters out.
And San Diego controlling.
Oh, it's gone straight down. Not a clean maul there.
Trying to dig it loose. San Diego gets it out. Williams.
Oh.
And there's a bobble there by Paeta Kia.
What's he giving here? Penalty for...
It's going
crossing.
to be San Diego ball. 7 meters out. And with Dublin spread wide across the goal line, they try to drive it in. Earl Aramis.
Yeah, Ireland doing really well to wrap them up there, not them through. He needs to keep those tackles down, though.
Barreling through, no try awarded. They go wide once again, and a good tackle there. There's Williams.
Great defense from Ireland.
Ireland trying to keep San Diego at bay, but the Armada keep coming. And the try's awarded. It's 7-5. And Gareth, maybe that strategy worked out after all, going for the try instead of the 3.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be really well placed to take this 2-point conversion as well. You know, they're just on the outside of the left post there, so this should be an easy kick for them, hopefully.
It'll be Anthony Williams. No, it's going to be Tony Manchuka to attempt this conversion, and couldn't ask for a better spot. Just off the left post, as Gareth Longley said. And Gareth from Manchester, England, and how's your experience in the nation's capital been over the past week?
Yeah, it's been good so far. We've been here for just over a week, so we came into New York and travelled up through Niagara into Toronto, and then Prince Edward County, and then here, and then we've got another 2 weeks after here. So yeah, it should be really good.
Kick is up, and it's good.
Got
We're
it.
tied at 7.
Yeah, no one's running to get back to the centre to kick off. We're all trying to conserve their energy. It's really, really hot and humid out there, so they just need to have every ounce of energy they can.
Now, we were expecting some rain in the forecast today, and now there are some clouds rolling in from the west, and it's becoming a little more overcast. About an hour and a half ago, it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice breeze, though. It's probably good for the boys on the pitch, to be honest. A bit of breeze to sap away that heat.
Dublin.
Short kick from Ireland. Dublin.
And it goes off of San Diego, and this will be Ireland ball.
Yeah, it came off a San Diego player, that, didn't it? So Ireland still looking quite calm. They're not panicking. It's 7-all, so 0-0 now.
Ball went off the hand of Matt Adams, and this will be a Dublin line-out, and rather nonchalant about it, but they win it. Here come the Irish. Stephen McCabe drops the shoulder, and there's an interception by San Diego, and it's coming back.
Looks like the Warriors are going to go to the corner. No, we're going to go for the posts. We're going to go for the 3 points. Taking the strategy you suggested earlier on for the Armada.
Take them when you can get them.
Absolutely.
And this a fairly lengthy kick, about 35 meters. And a little little bit of a breeze from left to right.
Yeah, that wind's actually picking up a bit now, so it's going to be a difficult one. You can see the island flags there flapping away.
This is almost similar to how you would allow the wind to move a golf ball. You'd kick it into the wind and allow the wind to bring it back.
Yeah, he's gonna need to judge this really, really well. He's gonna have to kick a little bit more to the left.
The kick is up, and
yes.
It's good.
Great kick.
10-7 Ireland on a beauty from Oren Sweeney. There's the sidelines, and the Dublin Emerald Warriors with a 35-yard penalty goal from Oren Sweeney take a 3-point lead. And it's these and off the chest, the bounce right into San Diego, the knock-on called, and it'll be San Diego scrum.
A good short kick there from San Diego, just going 10.
And we saw Dublin open the scoring with a converted try, and then San Diego came right back with one of their own, so you know there's no quit in this team.
Yeah, it's very evenly matched so far.
Williams kicks that one out for Schaefer. Driving forward. Scott digs it out.
And Ireland got a penalty, holding on for the Armada, not releasing the ball.
Now, Dublin will more than likely kick to touch. They do successfully get the line out, and more importantly, kicking the ball into touch on the full gives the guys on your side an opportunity to catch a breather,
It
too.
certainly does, yeah. Just you can see them walking up now. No one's jogging to get there. Things might get a bit more frantic in the second half if it's still quite even, but both teams looking really, really controlled at the moment.
And playing 4 games in 3 days.
Yeah, it's tough. In fact, this is probably their 5th game, actually.
This is their 5th.
Yeah.
In this Bingham Plate Championship, Ireland. Looking
got
to
men
move
outside.
It up. Pat Doyle, and some speed on the outside.
Oh, he needs to pass.
Ian Kelly.
He's taken it himself.
Kelly trying to offload and couldn't do it.
Oh,
he had the Kia in the way. Here's Ireland once again.
He's going to be kicking himself there. He had 2 men on his outside, and he didn't look outside him.
Stephen Cawley tried to sidestep his check. All the way to the outside once again. Quick hit to the number 8, Noel Riley.
Yeah, they just need to keep their composure here, Dublin. No knock-ons, just keep chipping away. Phase after phase.
All the way to the outside. There's his,
Oh, it's gone
that's
backwards.
Sweeney. Once again, there's the offload and some space to the outside, and it's down for the try. A great effort there. And Gary Gaughan gives Dublin a 15-7 advantage with the conversion to come.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult one. It's right out near the touch line, so. But the other kicks have been good, so let's see how he gets on.
Yeah, the first conversion attempt was from well out, the 22, by Oren Sweeney, and he nailed it. but this one is probably a more natural swing for him because of the right foot. It'll curve right to left.
I think he's left-footed.
Is he a lefty?
I'm fairly sure.
No, he's a righty.
Oh, he's a righty.
No,
he's a lefty.
No, he's ambidextrous. So he'll try the lefty. That's probably why the other conversion was maybe a little easier for him. But here he is this time trying to curve it back in and just took it a little wide left. So it's 15-7 and the lead now 8. So it's a 2-score game.
Certainly is. Can't be much longer left of this half.
$15-7 for Dublin here in the first half, and I wasn't expecting this kind of scoring.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be fairly even, to be honest. But that's good on Dublin. They've done a good job of wearing the Armada down.
Kicking a 10 and a great hit at the 10-meter line. Ireland back once again to the outside. Nice move and some freedom.
Oh, he stepped through there. Well done.
It's Pat Doyle. Doyle to the outside.
Oh, and he's gone back inside.
It comes back in, and Ireland with the try directly in front of the post. They're running away with it, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, great work by Ireland there. They really capitalised on going on the outside there and just running that through.
20-7 with the conversion to come, and it would appear that this conversion's academic.
You'd hope so with how close it is.
And you can just tell the body language of the San Diego Armada right now.
Yeah, you can see they're starting to put their heads down a bit. It's very, very difficult. Once you've got 2 tries ahead, so 2 tries behind, it's very, very difficult to muster the strength to continue and to really push on and compete. But these are a good team. I think they're gonna keep plugging away, and they've got the conversion.
That was I could have made that one.
I'm not sure I could.
Yeah, it's 22-7 now with Dublin in control of this one. So that being said, how does San Diego get back in this?
It's only a couple of tries. It's not, it's 3. It's going to be 3 tries to get back. They just need to dominate in the second half. They need to have a bit of a rest now for a couple of minutes, strategize, speak to each other, and sort out iron out the creases, and just really go back and dominate Ireland if they can.
22-7 at the half here in the Bingham Plate at the 2022 Bingham Cup. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back. Second half action coming up after this.
Hi guys. That's about where.
Gabriel Pizza, proud supporter of local sports. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at GabrielPizza.com.
This is Rogers TV, Ottawa.
Welcome back to the Hornets' Nest in the nation's capital of Canada, Ottawa. They are the host of the 2022 Bingham Cup, and this is the Bingham Plate Championship, and the Dublin Emerald Warriors completely dominating the San Diego Armada in that opening half. Dan Mooney alongside Gareth Longley, and Gareth didn't expect Ireland to come out as fired up as they did.
Yeah, well, I kind of expected it, to be honest. They're a very, very competitive team. They've got some really good players, and they know what they're doing. So, they're a good squad.
San Diego in tough, down 15 going into this second half, and nothing is academic at this point.
No. I mean, it's going to be difficult for San Diego to come back from this, to be honest. But you never know what's around the corner.
It'll be San Diego possession on the penalty to Dublin.
That's an interesting strategy. And opting to take it into contact and looks to condense the Dublin pack into the middle, create a bit of space on the outside.
Scott digs it out. Williams to the outside, and it's Ryan White-King thrown forward, drops the ball back. Scott digs it out. Finds his man, George Petrucci, who drops the shoulder. San Diego coming out with a just run it right at him strategy to start the second half.
Yeah, some really dominant tackles from Ireland. That's from Dublin, though.
Well, they're not going to let up.
Looks like they've got a penalty for a high tackle. Must have been playing advantage. I'd kick to the corner if I were them.
Scott Hyland down, and Williams gets the free kick just on the San Diego side of midfield.
Yeah, the penalty kick, so they'll have the put in as well.
And it stays in.
It's in.
Scooped up there by Gary Gaughan.
He needs to run them.
Gets it back out for Matthew Adame.
Oh, that was a good tackle. Chased his own kick and tackled.
Big shoulder drop there. George Petrucci gets it inside the 22. Scott picks it up, and he's taken down the ground by Niall Sherry. Here's Williams to the outside.
Oh, they should have passed then. They had 3 men on the outside and no Ireland defenders on that side.
Adame moved it forward. Williams fakes, goes forward, wrapped up by Kieran Dwyer. Oh, Petrucci hit immediately by Dwyer. Oh, no, he was hit immediately by Scott Hyland, and Hyland slow to get to his feet.
Oh.
As San Diego continues to move forward. Here's a run by Scott, trying to get through. He's wrapped up.
Looks like the referee's playing advantage here. I think there's a high tackle.
Chipped out there for Matt Adams. Adams drives it forward, 10 meters out. Adame once again, wrapped up, ball's loose, and Hyland tried to get it back, or make that. Kieran Dwyer tried to get it back. Hyland shaken up on that one open field tackle. He was slow to get up, as is Matthew Adame, the prop for San Diego.
Yeah, he needs to look outside him. He keeps running that ball in, and that's a natural instinct for a big forward. But they've had a couple of opportunities there where they've had men on the outside, and it's not got past the number 16, Adame. And that's a yellow card for a high tackle, I think. That could make a big difference in this second half. Ireland down to 14, the Dublin guys down to 14 men.
For 10 minutes. Or is it 10 minutes in the shortened half?
I think it's 5.
San Diego trying to get back in this one, trailing by 15. Quick hit there for Nick Sabatella. And we've got an injured Dublin player. And it looks like it's a left shoulder injury, and he looks like one of the big boys up front.
Yeah, lots of shoulder injuries, unfortunately. I've had my shoulder dislocated about 8 or 9 times.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, just a few.
Well, you see more and more younger players wearing the padding underneath their shoulders, underneath their jersey, the shoulder padding. They're not football shoulder pads, but it's some sort of cushion.
Yeah, just they lessen the impact a little bit, but it doesn't really help with dislocations. I used to wear them as well. The only thing that really helps is properly taping it up.
So San Diego at the 5-meter line. down by 15. They need a score here. Give it to the big boy, Adame. Gets to about 2 meters out. Scott dishes out once again. Sabatella to the line. Not in.
Great defense by the Irish guys.
San Diego trying to push it forward. Matt Horde tried to get in. What a great defensive stand here by the Irish. At the line.
San Diego just need to look right. Looks like another injury.
We're going to see a lot of that with the tight play around the post, and this is an ankle injury, and the training staff are going to be very, very busy in the latter stages of this one because this is their 5th match in the last 3 days, and all of them, to a man, are playing with bumps and bruises.
Oh yeah, a lot of them will be held together by tape, to be honest, by the end of this. But looks like Ireland are capitalising on having a bit of a rest.
That's the important part. Do you, even in situations like that, fake an injury just to get the training staff on and give your boys a chance to breathe?
I couldn't say we've ever done that on our team. But Ireland are not going to be in any rush to be getting back up again. They've got a nice old lead, and another 15 or 20 minutes or so of this match to go. So they're going to be wasting that time as much as they can. Run that clock. It looks like they're going to go for a scrum on the 5. This will mean that San Diego can compress the defence and hopefully get this ball out wide. They're all lining up on the right-hand side.
And Dublin with only a couple of men on that right-hand side to defend. The ball is in, and it's out. Comes to Sabatella, tries to get it in, gets it about a meter out.
Yeah, they need to be looking outside them. They're just taking it in every single time, and Ireland are too good at the defence. They need to capitalise and really go out wide and get that ball to the wings.
And in the interim, they're eating up a lot of clock.
Yeah. The Dublin guys are signalling to come up.
And they get it, and the kick.
No, it's going to be looks like a penalty to Armada. It must have been offside.
And both teams a little slow getting to their feet. Adame's scrub cap came off, and he'll have put that one back on.
Yeah, both teams are looking to tie now a little bit, aren't they? You can see things aren't quite as quick and fluid as they were in the first half.
Hands on the hips.
Yeah.
Trying to get as much air as you can.
That's it. They've got through.
Sabatelli's in. Nick Sabatella gets San Diego back within 10 with the conversion pending.
They need to continue to do that. They need to keep looking outside and getting that ball out a bit wider. They're really not going to be able to bash it through the middle with a defence like the Irish guys. Dublin are really, really good at tackling and really, really good at keeping the attackers out. So they just need to look out and see if they can get that ball out wide.
Anthony Williams doing a little bit of a tape job on the wrap on his thigh. A lot of hamstring injuries, a lot of quad injuries. When you're trying to set yourself up for what goes on in those scrums and in rucks and mauls, boy, it's punishment.
Like I said, held together by tape.
Number 19, Chris Briggs, out there trying to sort of take the knot out of the right quad of Anthony Williams.
I think the Armada guys missed that kick. I didn't see the flags go up from here.
They did not, so it's 22-12 in favor of the Dublin Emerald Warriors. A little less than 10 minutes of unofficial time left on this clock, but there will be at least 5 minutes of added time at the end of this second half. Well, not necessarily added time, but stoppage time, as it were.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not sure what they've been doing really with the stoppage time. I think they've been trying to keep things moving as much as possible.
They have, but there have been a few injuries and the water breaks, and there's a really interesting breeze blowing through here now, and it's more than a breeze. This is a wind.
Yeah, it's really picked up, so they've got to be more careful when they're kicking.
And in this second half, Dublin has the advantage right now as San Diego starts to go wide. They've got numbers on the outside, and that looked like a forward pass, and it's coming back.
Yeah, they've just not been very clinical at the moment, Armada.
So it will be a Dublin scrum.
And it's a good position for them to be in at the moment, just outside, between the 22 and the 10-metre line. If they can get this out wide, get it to their fast backs, they can probably run this through.
Dublin scrum. Engaged. Ball's in. And quick pick up by the number 8. And wrapped up.
And that was good work by Armada.
Armada now winning that battle, and they'll get the line out.
Yeah, they really need to use this now. If they don't get a score in the next 5 minutes, then they're really unlikely to be able to come back from this. So,
not done fairly, they'll do it again. Or the official deeming that not everybody was set.
It's going to be another Armada throw-in.
Ryan White-King. And Dublin takes advantage, couldn't hang on to the ball. Finally, Scott Hyland able to fall on it.
That's going to be a knock-on, yeah. The ref called a knock-on.
And that's a good call.
It's going to be Armada ball.
And it'll be an Armada scrum. And again, down by 10. It's a 2-score game.
The scrums are quite evenly matched, to say that the Armada have quite a big front row. I think a lot of it's more about technique and size and strength. Because the Dublin guys haven't really been pushed back. Been really evenly matched.
Touch, engage, ball's in, but the scrum moved.
That's a free kick.
And Dublin celebrating that little victory, and it's the little victories within the big one that ultimately spell success or failure.
Oh, I think he's given the penalty, not a free kick. That's good for the Dublin guys, because if they are going to kick this out, they'll retain possession. He's got a nice left foot on him, so he should be able to get this fairly far down the pitch.
Oren Sweeney.
There you go.
The touch on the full. And it's a couple of spectators who, unsuspecting spectators over there. But this will be a Dublin line out. They're huddling, discussing strategy. Leading by 10 with a little less than 5 minutes of unofficial time remaining.
The early jump there from Armada, but a knock on there from the Dublin guys.
Goes out, and it will be a free kick.
Yeah, there's a penalty for the quick jump from Armada. They jumped a bit too early.
He's going at goal.
No, he's going to go to the corner. They want another 5 points by the looks of it.
Well, 3 would make it a 3-score game.
I think they've got a bit of. Oh no, they're gonna go up. They're gonna go open into
Take it up
midfield.
the middle. Here's the big number 8, Noel Riley. Dug out there. Paulo Santos, Colante João moves it forward. Dublin going wide to the outside. Highland taken into touch. And coming into the game now, Barry Walsh, number 11 for Dublin.
I think he was the guy that was off for the yellow card, wasn't he? So he's back on now. Dublin back up to 15 players.
And it didn't hurt them.
It didn't. No, the Armada really didn't capitalise on that, did they? They didn't make the most of having the extra man. And the Irish guys doubling up.
So
Looks like it wasn't straight.
no, it was too far on the San Diego side, and it should be a free kick here for Dublin.
It's they've opted to go for the scrum. So it's either a throw-in from Ireland or a Dublin scrum, and they've opted for the scrum. Again.
7,000 folks have come into the nation's capital, Gareth, for this tournament. 1,700 athletes, and an economic shot in the arm for the nation's capital to the tune of $10 million plus. This tournament is a big deal.
Wow.
Here's a nice run. The offload for Walsh. Cuts back inside. Walsh tries to get to the line. Offloads to Oren Sweeney. He gets about a meter out. Dublin looking to get it across the line once again. Jow can't get it through.
It's really difficult to score under these posts because you've got 2 posts there. So rather than having just the post protectors for the rugby post, you've also got the football post, or the soccer post as you call them over here. So it's quite difficult.
Starting to feel a few sprinkles. So the rain that was in the forecast yesterday for the entire day has decided to sort of put a little damper on this party.
The players will probably be welcoming it, to be honest. A bit of cool in this really hot day. Let's see what Ireland do here.
Scrum breaks down.
And it looks like the Armada have got the penalty. Not sure what happened there. It looks like the front row have collapsed.
And it will be
That was a quick
San
tap.
Diego ball, quick tap, and here comes Joe Scott. Gets it to the outside for Cirillo.
He should have backed himself there and just sped up rather than slowing down.
The number 8, Noel Riley, had the ball but stepped into touch, and it will be San Diego possession here on the lineup.
Yeah, I don't think they could take a quick one. I think it's touched somebody else.
Ryan White King gets the ball in, couple of bounces, ball's loose, picked up by Ireland, ball knocked on. The knock-on call gives Ireland the scrum just outside
No, the
the
scrum's,
Armada 22.
the scrum's to Armada, actually. I think it came off one of the Dublin's, I think it actually came off his head.
Well, that would definitely be a knock-on. Scott getting set to put it in. Ball is in. The touch. Scrum is engaged and the ball is in, and the scrum moved once again. So Ireland with a quick tap, and they go to the outside.
Yeah, Armada have done that a couple of times now. I think they've gone a bit too early.
Paul Kelly wrapped up. Another knock-on call.
Let's see what Armada do in this scrum now. They've pushed a bit too early the last couple of scrums, which has given Ireland the advantage with the penalties. So they just need to slow things down a little bit, take that hit, and then once the ball's in, they can push and compete for it, but they can't do that until the ball's in.
The Dublin Emerald Warriors in control of this one, leading 22-12. Dan Mooney, Gareth Longley, and our entire Rogers TV crew, so happy to have you along for the ride here at the 2022 Bingham Cup. This the Bingham Plate Championship.
Better scrum this time from the Armada. They're going to clear it.
Williams to the outside, well, the middle of the pitch, comes back in.
Armada lucky there. It's almost at a turnover.
Scott spins, gets out to the 22. Well beyond official time.
Yeah, an interesting strategy here. They're not using the boots, so they're not kicking things for possession. They're running things up. That's a
knock on there. And Ireland content to just kill some time. They're not going to do anything. Well, no, it's going against Ireland.
Yeah, he was playing advantage from an earlier knock-on, I think. That's again, not really capitalising on getting up quick. They ran it sideways rather than forwards. They're not making any possession.
Quickly running out of options are the San Diego Armada, down 10.
Oh.
Well over the top. And now the grubber into the hands of the Irish. Gary gone, and another call. This time it's going against the Irish again.
Yeah, that was a high tackle there from Dublin. They need to be careful with those. There's some yellow cards coming otherwise.
Williams, good burst of speed up the middle. And the fans, or at least the San Diego contingent, cheering on their mates, trying to get them involved in this one, at least get one more score to make a tie or a win remotely possible.
Yeah, I think I might have just made a few little mistakes, and then just means that Ireland are getting that ball back.
Ball's kicked into touch on the full.
And that's going to be another Dublin put in.
And now, time on the side of the Irish. They continue. And it was all early going that the Irish jumped into that quick 14-0 or a 7-0 lead. San Diego came back with a try of their own and converted it to tie it at 7. But then the penalty goal made it 10-7. Ireland got 2 tries after that, and this has been tough for San Diego ever since the tail end of that first half. Williams to the outside for Jacob Schaefer. Schaefer wrapped up.
He's going to be a difficult one to bring down.
Ball to midfield. And an injured Dublin player down.
Yeah, ref just said time off. There can't be much longer left.
Good opportunity for teams to get some water out there.
Yeah, these guys must be really thirsty.
That's Scott Hoagland, the injured Irish player. And the wind has shifted somewhat. It was blowing from our left to right and left to right on your screen, and now it's blowing across.
Yeah, it's going to put a crossfield now. Just heard one of the guys say 2 minutes left. I'm not sure if that's official or not, but it sounds like they've spoken to the referee.
Highland nursing a left shoulder. He'll come off, comes off to a great round of applause from the Irish supporters. And I guess today's St. Patrick's Day, because every day's St. Patrick's Day for the Irish.
It is if you're winning.
Williams.
Oh, little chip over.
Into the hands of Scott Colley. Or Stephen Colley, rather. And again, over the top. And the ball goes to San Diego. Williams with the quick tap. Finds Joe Scott. Scott to the outside for Spencer Bacon. Dustin Spencer Bacon taken down. Irish getting it back.
Dublin's guys are going to clear now.
And the kick directly into the wind. Grabbed there by Manchuka, and he dropped it. Well, the ball was wavering in the wind. It like hit a wall of wind, and they're very, very difficult to judge.
Yeah, when they get that high ball, it's very, very difficult to judge when it's coming back down again, especially when the wind catches it. It just takes it a couple of inches one way or another. It can make it very difficult.
Ireland scrum. Not much time left in this one. And we're unable to tell you exactly how much time as the scrum wheels. They get it out, and
it's a lovely kick. Brilliant kick.
Sweeney takes it right down to inside the 5-meter line, and it's booted into touch. And it will be an Irish line out at the 5-meter line. So this one pretty much done. And the Irish should be taking the Bingham plate home.
I think they will. If I were them, I'd be getting up here and then have a driving maul 5 meters away from the try line. So if they can get clean ball, get it down cleanly again, and a nice maul over the line, score in the corner. But this wind might make things a bit more difficult.
And San Diego spread out well wide, and
that's a knock on by Ahmad. That's going to be a scrum down for the Irish guys.
From 5 meters out,
there you go.
There it is. The Dublin Emerald Warriors are the 2022 Bingham Plate champions here at the 2022 Bingham Cup, and they're bringing some hardware home to the Emerald Isle.
Yeah, great game and great. It's going to be some great celebrations tonight in Ottawa. The Dublin guys will be painting the town green.
So if you were to pick a man of the match, is there any specific direction that you'd go?
I think it's a difficult one. I think they had some good play from a good couple of players there. I think the 10 played really well. Oren Sweeney.
A couple of got a penalty goal and two converts. So he had a significant effort, but more about handling the ball. I think Oren Sweeney is an excellent choice for man of the match as he leads the Dublin Emerald Warriors to a 22-12 win over the San Diego Armada in the 2022 Bingham Plate Championship. For Gareth Longley and our entire Rogers TV crew, I'm Dan Mooney. Thanks so much for the company. So long from the 2022 Bingham Cup in the nation's capital of Canada, Ottawa.
This is Rogers TV, Ottawa.
Welcome to the Hornet's Nest in the nation's capital of Canada. It's the final of the 2022 Bingham Cup between the New York City Gotham Knights and the London King's Cross Steelers. Hi, everybody. Dan Mooney alongside Matt Whiteley for this final, and these are the two premier clubs in this tournament. In the final, you couldn't ask for a better championship.
We are in for an incredible game today, Dan. It's going to be a tough battle out there. Big teams, strong teams, fit teams. I can't wait to see it.
New York played Brisbane yesterday, and they're more of a ball control team. Not sure. I didn't see London, but I'm told that they have a much more efficient kicking game.
London is a very, very well drilled team. They spend a lot of time on the practice pitch. They will play a very tactical game, and they'll play it really well. Whether they can stand with the physicality of New York will be the big test of who wins today.
And New York, probably the most physical side in this tournament. Size-wise, they have dwarfed other sides.
Yeah, there's some incredible physical specimens out there on this park on both sides, but particularly New York, they are a big, strong side. I played against them earlier on in the tournament. They're a good unit and some big physical guys, so I can't wait to see this.
New York will get possession first, and we are underway in the 2022 Bingham Cup final. Ball picked up there by Desidero, and New York trying to get their ball possession, but New York starts the kicking game early. That goes into touch on the full, and it should be a New York lineout, but it's coming back.
If that landed in play, that's a great kick. If it didn't land in place, that's straight out. It's coming back for a King's Cross Steelers line out back in on about the 30 yards out from the New York try line. So this is a good attacking opportunity for London now. Here we go.
King's Cross, London in blue, New York in gold. "25-minute halves here in this Bingham Cup Championship, and this tournament going on since 2002 in memory of Mark Bingham, who was on Flight 93, the ill-fated flight that crashed into a field in Pennsylvania. But Mark Bingham among those on that plane who attempted to subdue the attackers and saved probably thousands of lives in the interim.
Line out lost by the Steelers, and New York have got possession back in their own 22.
Quinones at his own 22. Gets it out, and again. Here's London's King's Cross with it now. On the New York side of midfield. London going blind side, gets it to the outside and taken down just outside the 22. They come back again. Tasker drives forward. Jono Elvin.
Jono is one of the stronger players of the Steelers. He's a big, strong runner.
London continuing to push just outside the New York 22. Jack Fossey tries to go blind side. London content to just push the ball forward. Now they go wide. Little quick hit into the seam for Jono Elvin. Out to the outside once again. Tom Devil to the 22, no further. Another quick hit. And a penalty. So, New York ball, what's the call?
The penalty was for holding on, so New York got an attacking, defending player over the ball really quickly there. Didn't get much time for London to play the ball. So penalty to New York just inside the 22. Good chance for them to clear their lines and get out of D.
Sam Jenkins kicks it into touch on the full. It'll be a New York line out on the far side. And you can see the fans lining the sidelines here. What a great crowd on hand for this Bingham Cup Championship.
Great atmosphere here today. Really good. Big game.
This tournament has a tremendous impact, not only on the LGBTQ plus rugby community, but to the greater Ottawa community as well. 7,000 folks have moved in on the nation's capital for this tournament, 1,700 athletes, and an economic impact of over $10 million over the course of the week. So thanks for that, Matty.
You don't have to thank me. There's a lot of people here. We as players, we really appreciate everything that this city and the organising committee have done to put on such a special event. It's been a fantastic few days of rugby, a fantastic few days of socialising as well, because that's a big part of our rugby culture. I can't wait for the rest of the festivities this evening.
Well, no doubt it'll be the big send-off, because a lot of the athletes and a lot of the folks that came in for this tournament will be flying out of the nation's capital tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm here till Tuesday, so I didn't really fancy a flight with the hangover. So.
Yeah, they're always tough. London continues to press, and New York has been on their heels almost since the opening kickoff.
Yeah, they're under a lot of pressure here. They didn't manage to clear their lines. London had some good line-out possession, got the more going, and now they're setting up their phase play deep inside the 22, 5 metres from the try line here. So it's a big opportunity for London right here.
Moving it out. There's a quick hit and a cut inside.
Steve Brockman.
Look at that. Steve Brockman.
So close.
At the line, and they get it down. The try is awarded. London leads it 5-0, and the ball will be right in front of the posts for the convert.
That's a great try. Really well worked. They started off with some good line-out possession, got the driving more going, put a few phases together after that. 2 or 3 big, strong runners hitting that gain line fast, getting the yards, and then Steve Brockman with a little show and go. He's not a young guy, but he is a good guy. He knows how to play this game. Little show and go, and made the gap and got to the line. Incredible bit of play.
Well, yeah, and what great presence of mind to make that instantaneous decision to show and go.
100%.
He knew he saw that gap and he took it.
Yeah. So I think the defence was looking for that, for a little pop off, and he saw that gap and just went for it 100%. If you're going to make that decision, you've got to commit to it 100%, and he did that and he got over the line. So big credit to him.
Chris Norman with the point after, and that's through. 7-0 for London. here in the first half of the 2022 Bingham Cup, and London gets on the board first. Is that a surprise to you?
It's not a surprise. I think this is going to be a really tight game. There's two evenly matched teams. Obviously, New York have been under the pump right since the get-go. But now they've got the kick-off. They can play some territory. They've got a chance to get back into this game, so it could go anywhere from here.
And it's all about territory, and the wind has not only freshened, it's picked up considerably here, and the temperature is cooled, so it's going to make it a lot easier for the guys on the pitch.
Yeah, I think London will appreciate the lower temperature probably a little bit more than New York, so I'm sure they'll be pleased with that. The wind is going to be challenging for both teams. At the moment, London are playing with the wind, so second half might be a different story.
London with possession, as they've had for most, and there's a break. Moving down, Kieran Clemo gets the ball to midfield. And New York was the favorite coming into this, but London has turned the tides.
London have a penalty advantage here as well. They got the penalty. There we go.
And this is unfamiliar territory for the New York City Gotham Knights. They have dominated most of the teams in this tournament, and now they find themselves down 7-0, probably their first deficit of the tournament.
I'm pretty sure it is. Gotham probably had the routes to the final, to be honest, and so this is probably their biggest test of the tournament, no doubt. London have had some tough games to get here, so they'll be battle hardened. They'll be ready for this. But New York might be a bit fresher, so let's see how that pans out.
It should be interesting the rest of the way, as New York spots the London King's Cross Steelers a 7 spot to begin this one.
Free kick here to Gotham for not straightening the line out.
Well, do you kick for field position here, or you just get it out, get the line out, and try and move it down?
I don't know. If you kick, then you don't get the ball back for a free kick. It's not a full penalty, so I think they're just going to tap and go and try and make some yards and keep hold of possession.
That's what they do. They just hammer it down, and New York trying the power game. Sam Jenkins barreling forward to the outside. Chris Roberts gets it in for Jerry Buden. Buden taken to ground. Here's another opportunity. Robert Quinones tries to drive it forward. New York, nice hit, and a great open field tackle on Roberts. Picked him up and dropped him.
He certainly did. That was a hell of a hit. But I think London's line speed was really good through that set of New York possession, and then it just caught them foul there because they got offside, and now penalty to New York because they were just a bit too quick off the line there.
That ball into touch, and just goes into touch on the
Good kick
floor.
from Sam Jenkins there. Excellent kick. Not often you see a prop being the team's kicker, but this guy has got an incredible boot on him. I've seen it across the tournament already. He's got an incredible foot.
Converts are going to be at a premium unless you touch it directly in front of the posts.
This wind is
today.
really getting up now, isn't it?
Ball into the hands of Gotham. The Gotham Knights onto the far side. That's Clark Buden. The brother combination of Jerry and Clark on this New York side. A little offload for Jenkins. Jenkins moves that one up. Sends it off for Shockey. Ed Shockey. King Mana. Trixie King Mana, ball all the way to the outside, and it ends up in the hands of the flanker, Alex Sue. Despite the tip.
Ooh, turnover.
Now London in possession. They try to barrel forward as New York wonders what they have to do to get something past this London defense.
Yeah, it was a good set of phases from New York, but London managed to get the turnover when they spread the ball out wide, when New York got the ball out wide, and now we're back on halfway.
With London in possession, Jack Fossey driving forward. Quinones wraps up his man.
Little pick and go from Casper Sponson there. Nice, getting a bit of territory, allowing the Steelers just to set a better platform.
Tasker. The loose head prop for London. Now it's in the hands of Brockman. He's got the try, sends the grubber down, and New York sends it right back down into the hands of Ben Coney. He sends it down, gets the roll, and rolls into touch.
That is a great kick from Ben Cody. Dribbled it into the corner, deep inside the 22. So New York will have possession on about 10 yards out from their try line, but it's difficult. It's going to be difficult to escape from here. They're playing into the wind, and that's going to be tough to clear the lines from here right now.
Well, I would think that with the change in conditions here, Matt, it's got to be all about ball possession and field position.
Yep, absolutely. It could become a tactical game. If you can play the wind, if you can play the conditions, then you stand a good chance of winning this game.
And both teams have to battle the conditions, so it's a level playing field in that respect.
Ooh, and London win the line out too.
They do, and they continue to press, and New York has been in tough since the opening kickoff here, and they'll have to make some adjustments at halftime to get them back into this.
Break on the wing.
Pick there from Ryan Wise. Wise at the try line, about 4 meters out. Another big push.
I think that's
try.
I think
London
that's John O'Elvin.
scores.
I think that's John O'Elvin, the captain. Big strong carry.
John O'Elvin, wearing number 7, gets in, and it's now 12-0 with the conversion attempt to come.
It'll be tough. It's tough from here for New York, but let's not forget that they're going to have the wind in the second half, so it's a big advantage. It's really getting up, and they'll be able to play the territory like London had in this first half. So this game is far from over yet.
This is going to be a really difficult kick for Chris Norman. Not only is he on the wide angle, which narrows the posts considerably,
Definitely.
but he's got to kick it into a wind that is blowing directly across the post. So he's got to aim it well right and have it turn in.
If he gets this, he probably needs a medal.
Well, that might seal the fate of the New York City Gotham Knights.
It's still early days. I think probably. How long do we have left in this half, Dan?
A little less than 5 minutes of unofficial time. There's the kick. It is up. And it's good.
Incredible kick.
What a
Absolutely
great kick from Chris
kick.
Norman.
He just floated it up and let the wind do the work. It was, the wind's kind of in his favour, but also blowing across. So he did a brilliant job with that kick. Just floated it beautifully and let the wind bring it back through the post.
14-0 now, Matt. What does New York have to do to get some momentum going into the break, which is going to be so important?
There's 2 things. New York desperately needs some possession. They need to get the ball in their hands. They need to go through some phases. And I think it would be, if they can get on the scoreboard before the half-time, that'll be the big determining factor about what happens in this game. If they can get a try, even just a penalty, before half-time, that's a momentum shift. They can work with that. But if it's still 14-zip, at half-time, it's going to be an uphill climb in that second half, even with the wind.
Well, in the Bingham Plate game, Dublin had a considerable lead, and then San Diego Armada came back with a big surge in the second half. Wasn't enough. So these short halves really make a difference in how you strategize and how you lay out your game plan.
For sure. It's the shortened games mean it's super intense, and you've got to take your opportunities. London have been doing that so far. New York haven't been able to do that just yet, but scrum just inside the Steelers half hit.
And London gets a bit of a break, and there's a huge collision. Tyler Desidero is still down after he took a huge hit coming off that scrum. Desidero still down.
just got his head on the wrong side there, and big strong ball carry from the Steelers, dropped the shoulder into the contact, and that'll hurt.
Actually, it's number 22. It's Declan Court.
He's got up though. That's good to see.
What a hit. And no shortage of great hits in this tournament as well. Everybody coming out and just hammering each other.
Yeah, I think that's what you notice. The physical conditioning of the guys out there at the top level of this competition is something else. I played in all 10 Bingham Cups, and you see it just getting more and more intense. The physicality increasing every time there's a next Bingham Cup, and these guys are in great shape, and there's some big hits going on out there.
Would the London team be considered a club team, or is this more like an all-star team?
Oh no, this is very much a club team. These guys play league rugby with each other week in, week out, so they're a well-drilled unit that have played a lot of rugby together back home. I think the conditions will be different to back home. We're used to a lot colder climate back in the UK, but these guys are looking good.
And the pitch conditions here, how have things gone throughout the tournament? There are 11 fields at this soccer facility here in the nation's capital, and it's being used for rugby. Some quick movement on the outside, and he stepped on the line. A great rush there, but just stepping on the line, not a lot of room on the outside, and it almost went all the way in, and another injury on the pitch as a member of the New York City Gotham Knights gets some attention. And this is something that the Knights are not familiar with.
They're under a lot of pressure,
players.
aren't they?
It's number 22 again. That's Declan McCourt. He was injured, and he's going off. But it's number 6. It's Tyler Desidero. Desidero hit earlier as well, and he's really shaken up. And you have to really be very, very careful about concussion protocols in this situation.
100%. You see it across the game now, amateur and professional. We take all the precautions when it comes to head injuries, and quite rightly Tyler Desidero is taking a break there. He'll be assessed fully, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think they have a quiet room here where they can take them away and assess them.
They have a blue card system here, so when there's a head injury, the referees will issue a blue card, and those guys are done until they can demonstrate that they're good to go again.
New York trying to get out of their own end of the field. Jerry Buden drives it forward. Now they go to the outside, and McCourt with the grubber, but he was tackled just as he was getting the ball away.
Yeah, they're just struggling to put the phases together and to keep that and to get the territory. They're playing a lot of rugby in their own half right now, which is always difficult. You want to be playing in the right areas of the field, and New York just haven't been able to do that just yet.
They will no doubt make some adjustments at the break. We are beyond the allotted time for this opening half. Actually, it's 25-minute halves in the championship as London's Ethan Phillips drives forward. That ball knocked on, and the hit there on Kieran Clemau by Robert Quinones.
Knock on there in the backfield, so this will be a scrum to New York.
So the scrum to New York. Yanni Papadimos, the hooker, trying to get the ball back. And London's defensive posture well wide. Ball is in. And it gets tied up.
Messy ball in that scrum there. New York comes under a bit of pressure. Number 3, Justin Widener, looking like he might have picked up an injury there. Let's see how that goes. He's a big, strong runner. be a big loss for New York if he can't stay on, but he looks like he's okay.
Widener wearing 4, Quinones wearing 3. Loose side, tight head, loose head, tight head props in position. That's Sam Jenkins and Quinones. Papademos the hooker for New York. Ball's in. And they don't like it again. It's going to be London possession, I believe, and Quinones is going to have to get some attention. Looks like he might be favoring that left ankle.
Yeah, he doesn't look in great shape there. He's really struggling. He's a big, strong guy. You know, I played against him in the earlier rounds, but you know, it's a long tournament. It's a tough tournament, and I can understand why he might have a few bumps and bruises that he's nursing through this final. So let's hope he can carry on, because he's an incredible player.
Well, as your colleague Gareth Longley said in the Bingham Plate game, everybody held together by tape.
Very much so. I think anybody who's ever played in a rugby tournament will be able to empathise with that.
Yeah, you have to go in with a different mindset if you're playing multiple games every day.
100%, and really the teams that succeed in tournaments like this are the ones that are able to manage their pitch time and manage the work of their best players. If you can get through the group stages and keep your best players fresh, then that is a huge thing for being able to perform at the back end of the tournament.
Ball stays in. Caleb Balaban.
Great side
all the
step.
way back. Offloads, and that ball knocked on. Referee allows London to play the advantage as the wind picks up in gust form. It was a breeze when we first began the day, and now it's gusting directly in the face of Gotham Knights.
Yeah, this is going to be one for the tacticians now. How do you escape that? You know, Gotham have got their own Scottish scrum. No, actually, it's a London scrum, but 5 metres inside the Gotham 22. They need to work out a plan that's going to get them out of their own line.
Perhaps the wind in the second half will be the tonic for that.
You definitely want to be playing with the wind rather than against the wind. It makes the handling a little bit more difficult, but you know, if you can play the territory like London have in this first half, then that, you know, you can play your rugby in the areas that you want to play your rugby, and that's a really important factor.
London with 2 converted tries here in this opening half, and in some of the games in this tournament that might just be enough, but not in a Bingham Cup Championship.
Well, there's a long way to go yet. We're not even at half time, so you know, we saw the Steelers score 2 tries in the first 15 minutes today, so you know, the games can change on a dime, so you know, anything can still happen.
London scrum, ball's in and back out. London attempting to go wide. And they've got it. They've got some room on the wide side. It's Norman. Norman down. And he touches down. Did he get the try? No. New York able to hold off Chris Norman. What an effort.
Right in the
both
corner.
Sides.
Incredible tackle right in the corner. They're right in the goal line. Chris Norman went for that, like, you know, flying dot down for the try. Brilliant cover tackle. The referees are still talking about this. Let's see what happens.
In American football, all you have to do is touch the flag.
No try.
Oh, that could bode big in that second half with New York going to be set up with the wind in their favor. That play could be a game saver or a championship saver.
I didn't see whose cover tackle that was, but it could be a very important moment in this game. But still, New York have got to get out of their own territory, line out on their own 5 here. It's going to be really difficult to escape from here against the wind. Really picked up.
New York wins it, and they send it down, and it rolls out the back end. It will be a 22-meter drop. Or will it?
I think that went out from a New York hand, so I think that might be a 5-meter scrum to London.
Okay. Difficult to see from this vantage point. And you're absolutely right, Matt Whiteley. It will be a 5-meter scrum for London. as they continue to press in the late going here of the first half.
I think that could have been a tactical error from New York there against this wind. I think they'd like to caught that line out and set up a drive rather than take that quick ball off the top, put the scrum half under a lot of pressure, and the wind just caught the ball and dribbled it out the back of the in-goal area.
If London is able to get a try here, that might seal the Gotham Knights' fate.
London scrum under a bit of pressure there as well, though.
Once again, it's Steve Brockman.
Good
offloads,
defense.
trying to drive forward. They're close, about 3 meters out.
Good dive from Parentaska there.
Here's the number 8, Morgan Vondi. And penalty against London, and it will be New York ball over the top. And London perhaps just a little anxious to get the ball over the line there.
Yeah, they were trying. I think actually that's a big credit to New York. Their line speed and defence was excellent. They got up there, they made their big hits, and put the London attackers under a lot of pressure, and they just weren't able to get any go forward.
Those goal line stands are really when you need the big boys, and New York has the big boys.
And now they've been able to clean their line. The ball is now nearly at the New York 10-metre line, so they've got a chance here to get away from their own goal line, play some rugby in the areas that they want to play.
So a New York line out. Yanni Papadimos gets it in right into the hands of Alex Ginger.
Knock on by London, I think, there.
So it'll be a New York scrum. And halftime in this 2022 Bingham Cup. And it's been all London. New York has some homework to do during the break. They trail 14-0 in the 2022 Bingham Cup final. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with second half action from the Hornets' Nest in the East End of the nation's capital.
Gabriel Pizza, proud supporter of local sports. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at GabrielPizza.com.
This is Rogers TV, Ottawa.
The London King's Cross Steelers leading the New York Gotham Knights 14-0 at the half here in the 2022 Bingham Cup Championship. Dan Mooney, Matt Whiteley, and our entire Rogers TV crew, so pleased to have you along for the ride, and what a great atmosphere
Listen to the noise
for the Bingham Cup Championship.
It's incredible. I reckon there's probably a good couple of thousand players and supporters around this pitch. Brilliant atmosphere, and I think we all can't wait to see what this second half brings.
Well, the first half didn't bring much for the New York City Gotham Knights. It was all London Steelers.
It certainly was. So big uphill task for Gotham here, but they've got the win, so they're going to need some early momentum. They need some early points on the board, and then that game could be anyone's.
New York will give up the ball first, but more importantly, they have the wind in their favor here in the second half.
Catch there by Casper Swanson. Good drive.
Brockman. Steve Brockman. Hit. John O'Elvin out there as well. Here come London once again, and this is going to be a ball possession half for the Steelers. There's an offload that doesn't go the Steelers' way, and New York has possession of the ball. Into the big number 8, Phil Constantinou.
Great carry.
New York trying to go wide. Inside there, Jerry Budin.
Referee playing advantage to New York there for one of the London players getting offside and getting in the way of the New York scrum half.
And this will be a free kick. And they're going at goal. Sam Jenkins has the ball. They want to get on the board. No, they're not. They're going to kick for field position. They get the line out into touch on the full. And no penalty goals for New York. No, they want tries or nothing.
They need tries right now. The 3 points just won't be enough. It's a long way back from 14 points if you're just going to eat it up in 3-point gaps. So they need to get over the line. Need a try here. So got the field possession. They've got a line out 10 metres out. If they can secure possession here, they'll be in a good place.
3-point gaps with the wind in your favor, they add up quickly. Bad throw, loose ball off the line out. New York controls, or London controls. And London gets to the outside. It's the loose head prop, Heron Tasker, getting beyond the 22. Big number 25, Ryan Wise, as London gets the big boys involved. Brockman offloads that for Jack Fossey. Fossey moves forward, and despite having the wind at their back, London has taken the majority of the play since the kickoff to open this second half.
Well, London are playing the conditions a bit better here. They're not trying to kick against the wind. They're just keeping the possession, playing the phases, keeping the ball in their own hands, driving, getting up the pitch. And they've earned a penalty here just in their own 10-metre line.
That ball into the New York bench, and that goes out on the full. It will be a London line out, and now field position and ball possession. We talked about how important that's going to be in the second half, and London doing it very, very well at this point.
Yeah, I think London winning the tactical battle right now. They've managed to escape from their own 22 and get possession deep in New York's half now, and that was something that New York weren't able to do against the wind in the first half.
Brockman, quick hit for Jono Elvin. Elvin tries to hit the seam, ball comes loose. All the way to the outside, Ryan Wise finds Graham Farmer. Farmer couldn't go more than a meter or so before he's brought to ground. Jack Fossey. Or is that the big end? Number 8, Morgan Vondi. Here's Brockman. Takes a couple of hits, keeps the legs going and drives forward. Brought down by the other number 10, Chris Roberts.
Ooh, big hit.
Vondi takes a big hit, drops the shoulder, ball is loose. Brockman again pushing forward. London on the move. Brockman to the outside. Now they go wide. Here's a chance. Chris Norman steps back inside. Norman going for the line. He'll score. Chris makes it 19-0 London.
What an incredible finish by Chris Norman. He got the ball only just inside the 22. He had probably 5, 6, 7 defenders to beat. Step inside, found a gap and ran right through the score pretty much near the end of the place. Brilliant finish that from Chris Norman.
And Norman does it all. 2 converts thus far as well, and trying to convert his own here, making a pretty substantial case for man of the match at this point.
2 tries, 2 conversions so far with 1 to come. I think this guy's playing out of his skin today.
Norman preparing himself. And this is the difficult part of a kicker's job. After playing and being right in the middle of everything, you're exhausted. Now you got to set up. And it hits the upright and goes wide. So 19-0, the difference at this point. But again, the wind.
As a kicker myself, I can empathise with that. You know, he's just run a try in from 20 yards out. He's going to be blowing a bit. You've got to center yourself. You've got to get your breath back. You know, unfortunately, that one just hit the upright. So he'll be disappointed with that because he's a great kicker. But you know, 19-0 is comfortable lead for the Steelers now, and it'll be about closing the game out.
Is it enough, Matt?
I would think so. It's 25-minute halves. We're only 2 or 3 minutes into that second half now, but you know, it's a long way back from 19 in a shortened game like this.
London. There's the offload. Norman has it once again. Ruck forms. London drives forward. New York in very tough, and London absolutely relentless here in the second half. There's the quick offload. Parentasker gets to midfield.
Turned over.
Turnover there. New York has it now, and now they kick it downfield for field possession. London kicks it right back, and a good kick into the wind, into the hands of Chris Roberts. Roberts going wide. That ball knocked on a couple of times, and it'll come all the way back onto the New York side of midfield. And Chris Norman is injured, and he'll require some attention from the medical staff.
Yeah, tough break for New York there. They had some space on the outside. They looked to try and exploit it from that kick return. But the wind has caught the ball, knock on from New York. So Steelers will have a scrum just inside the New York half. But this could be, it could be an injury here for Chris Norman.
Could be a cramp, though. It could be a cramp with the humidity. They seem to be working, trying to loosen the hamstring and the calf.
Yeah, he's got a lot of tape on his body already, Chris Norman, by the look of it. So he will have played a lot of minutes already, and he's struggling.
And he's getting more attention, and it's that adductor muscle right in the groin area, and that is really difficult. The only thing that really can heal that is time, more than anything else. Tape it up as much as you can to get in there and complete the game, but still.
Yeah, and with him being Steelers' frontline goal kicker as well, I don't know where the points might come from if they want to, rack up that score a little bit more and give them more of a cushion to play again.
Who knows? That might have affected that last conversion attempt.
For sure. Fatigue plays such a big part of this late stage in any tournament, and I'm sure it's telling on both sides. He's up on his feet now, so that's good to see.
And he'll stay in. Having a conversation with Nao Okamura. Tom Devil out there as well, as they stay back in a defensive balance. You don't want to get burned with a 19-0 lead.
Absolutely not. So Steelers put into this scrum.
Ball's loose, and it comes out. The big number 8 has it. Morgan Vondi to the outside. London pressing. No quit in these King's Cross Steelers.
Got an advantage here for a high tackle, I think, against New York. So London's still playing with this free ball, essentially.
Brockman to the outside. London going wide. Norman cuts back inside. Want to eat up some clock. Form the ruck. And drive forward. Parentasker for a few more meters. All the way back out. Picked up there by Kieran Clemo. Brockman inside, and another big hit by the Gotham Knights. That was Yanni Papadimos lowering the boom on Ben Coney.
Massive hit there. Penalty to New York as well for the London team going off their feet. So a bit of an opportunity here for New York to get possession back, get back into the London half, and maybe put some points on the board.
Well, we'll have the line out, and it will be a New York lineup, but they've got to get on the board quickly here with time running out on them.
Yeah, I think we need to, you know, if Gotham are going to have a chance in this game, they need to score in the next 2 or 3 minutes. And if it's not, then London will just be able to wind that clock down, go through the phases, and close this game out.
And just keep the ball on the ground.
For sure.
New York winning that line out. Big hit there on Cherry Buden. New York still with possession. They come to the right side. Ball's loose. Quinones tries to drop the shoulder and continue moving, and now a little push over the top. Jenkins doesn't get called. And we got a rather angry Jono Elvin.
Angry is Jono Elvin's fairly normal state, though, to be fair.
And Jono, hearing impaired as well. He's in conversation, he's signaling, and a yellow card.
Who's he? It's yellow cards for number 1 yellow.
That's Sam Jenkins for going over the top.
Wow.
So now London with a 19-0 lead now have a man advantage for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that penalty was going the other way, to be honest, so surprised to see that. Another advantage for London here, you know, they're playing with a man up inside the 22 now. This is a really good position for London. They should be able to close out the game from here.
Ethan Phillips with the throw in, and London easily takes control. Brockman to the inside for Tasker. Tasker drops the shoulder down. London content just to eat up as much clock as they can now and keep the ball out of the Gotham Knights' hands.
Yeah, just knocked on in possession there. Some good pressure by the New York defence caused that error. So New York will have a scrum now just inside their own 22. Chance to clear their lines maybe, but they're going to need to play some rugby if they're going to put some points on the board. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see whether they try and get the ball wide quickly from the scrum, even with a man down. They're going to need to get some points on this board pretty soon if they're going to have any hope of winning this game.
And this completely unfamiliar territory for the New York City Gotham Knights. They have rolled over all of the competition in this tournament leading up to this game.
Yeah, and sometimes it helps to have a few tough battles before you get to the final, and I think London certainly have had that. Gotham probably had the easier route to the final. They'll probably be feeling fresher, but you need a good test, and maybe they haven't had that yet.
And New York looking to avenge the loss in the last Bingham Cup final. They lost to Australia, and
yeah, New York are always great contenders. London have been there and thereabouts, in the semi-finalists pretty often as well. So this is two of the premier teams in the world of gay and inclusive rugby. So it's good to see these two titans of the game really hitting it off against each other today.
London content to just keep driving the ball forward. New York, are they playing with enough desperation at this point, Matt?
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of intensity coming from New York at the moment. They look out on their feet. They look like they're struggling. They look like maybe a bit demoralised at this point. They will know that they've got an uphill battle, but I'm sure they won't be giving up just yet. Their captain, the number 8, is really leading them from the front. Great player.
Phil Constantinou. Ball, a little battle for the ball there, as I believe Constantinou went over the top.
Penalty New York.
And this will go into touch for the line out. just like that. Chris Roberts taking care of that chore. And inside 10 minutes of unofficial time remaining in this one, and London certainly in the driver's seat, leading 19-0. Dan Mooney, Matt Whiteley, and our entire Rogers TV crew, so happy to have you along for the 2022 Bingham Cup Final.
Yep, a line out to New York here for that penalty. They got to score soon, and some good possession for them here.
And little grubber down, that was a dangerous play. Picked up inside the end zone, so should be a 22-meter drop or a 5-meter scrum.
I think this is going to be a goal line dropout. It's a recent law change. This, if you put the ball down from a kick and it doesn't go dead, it's a goal line dropout. So instead of on the 22-meter line, it's on the goal line.
In favor of New York for sure.
Definitely. So they'll have an attacking opportunity from this kick return, particularly because they're going to have to kick it into the wind. So any distance that the Steelers are going to be able to get here will be really important.
There's the drop into the hands of number 19, Brad Thorson. Thorson loses control of it. Picked up there by Caleb Balaban. London with the turnover. They get to the outside, and here's some speed. It's number 19, Jack Langan. Langan finally taken down, but London in control, and they continue to move it forward.
60 meters right there in one go. Unlucky.
Just when New York think they were getting a break, it goes the other way, and it's back in London's favor.
Real ding-dong battle here now. New York got possession back. Wow, it's all over the place. 2 penalties to New York just now.
These teams are tired. Both teams. Look at the New York players. Body language speaking volumes here.
Yeah, there'll be some tired bodies on that field. I know how it feels. They've just got to keep working, see if they can get anything out of this next few minutes. They're going to take a tap.
Well, in all of these situations, nice hit there for Perrin Tasker on Constantinou. Pitch out there, yep, Yanni Papadimos moves it out. Roberts gets it to the far side, the middle of the pitch, trying to go wide. Another turnover, New York has it. London has it, Kieran Clemo. London trying to go wide. John O'Elvin with the little kick into the hands of Caleb Balaban. Balaban sets the mark, and it'll be a scrum here for New York.
Yeah, London just playing some clever rugby here. They're playing the possession, trying to wind the clock down, making sure that they're not playing too much rugby in their own half, keeping it deep in New York's half. It's a really tough outing for today for New York.
A little over 5 minutes of unofficial time left in this Bingham Cup Championship. And boy, what a week it has been here in the nation's capital. And what a day it is. The clouds have reared their heads, and that goes into touch, and a lovely spiral kick, but it's coming back.
Yep, straight out on the full. He was just outside his 22 there, so unfortunately, because that went straight out, that's going to be a line out back to London, just outside the New York 22. Seems to just be a little bit more energy in the London side right now. Not surprising, given that they're up on the scoreboard, but it's hard to see how New York comes back from this.
Well, it would appear that the Steelers can taste it now.
Yeah, they'll know what they need to do. They've got to close out this game, keep hold of that ball, reduce those opportunities, and just wind that clock. Not straight at the line out there, though. So New York will get a chance here in their own 22, but they got the ball back.
Few injuries here in the second half as bodies tend to wear down under these conditions and in such a tournament where you're playing 5 games in 3 days. Rugby is usually 1 game a week, and you allow your body a week to kind of refresh. But no such luck in a tournament like this.
No, and even though they're shorter games, the games are so much more intense than an 80-minute game of rugby. These 40, 45-minute games of rugby are really, really hard work, I can promise you that.
New York trying to get to the outside. That ball knocked on. London tries to play the advantage. And a drop there from number 21, Max Kraus, getting some playing time now. And the coaching staff kind of resigned to their fate, it would seem, Matt, that some of the sort of the secondary players are getting an opportunity to play here in this championship.
Yeah, and I think that's important. That's part of rugby culture. You know, teams come to this tournament as one squad, and you know, inevitably some guys get more game time than others. And when you get the opportunity, I think it's important to give some of those fringe players their chance.
There's a drone camera here as well. I just wish that we could see it. It's hovering right over the middle of the pitch, directly over number 14, Chris Norman. I don't know whether or not you might be able to get a shot of that, Bernard. That drone that's right above the pitch. There you see it's moving now.
Let's hope players have not got any bald spots they don't want revealing.
Yeah, that's their main concern. Something wasn't done.
Another penalty at the scrum for London there.
Properly. So now, you don't want to rub salt in the wound, but if they were to kick at goal here, would that be considered bad sportsmanship?
Certainly not bad sportsmanship. You know, you're going to do what you're going to do to win the game. But I think with this wind and at this with the scoreboard how it is, I think the Steelers have taken the wise choice. They're going to stick it in the corner, take the time out of the clock, take the line out, probably catch and drive from this line out, and just keep winding that clock. I think that's the wiser decision here.
2 minutes left on the unofficial clock, and the 2022 Bingham Cup here in the nation's capital of Canada. And on behalf of all of us at Rogers TV, it's just great to be a part of something as inclusive as this, and it's just turned out to be an absolutely fantastic weekend here for rugby at the Hornets' Nest in Gloucester. Another big rush, and the try is awarded. No question about the outcome of this one now.
Not now. So London had some great line-out possession there. They caught the ball, they settled the ball really nicely, took the ball to ground, set up 2 or 3 phases after that, and just crashed over. I think the Gotham Knights now are probably feeling a little demoralised, but they can be proud of their performance this week. They've really showed up. Bingham Cup finalists is no mean achievement, and even if they're not going away with the silverware, they're going away, I think, with a lot of pride in their performances this week.
Now, we expected this one to be a lot tighter, but we did not expect to see New York put up a donut.
Nope, certainly not. And I think that's you've got to give a lot of credit to London. They played an incredible game today. They've had a real tough route here. They had to beat Sydney in the semi-final, who are multiple winners of the Bingham Cup. So they've had to earn their spurs to get here. But that's a really well drilled outfit. They played their game today. They played really nice, tidy, error-free rugby today, and you know, they can be really proud of what they've done.
Wow, they have followed the game plan to a T.
They'll have that little knowing feeling in their hearts right now. They know they're just a couple more minutes away from lifting that trophy. That's got to be a good feeling for those players out there right now.
Well, and knowing that they've successfully executed their game plan perfectly against a tough side, I think that's, yes, they won. They might have won the Bingham Championship, but I think executing a game plan to perfection is more of a greater achievement.
Yeah, I think the Steelers coaching team will be very pleased with their work this week, and you can see that the players have just gone out there and executed exactly what they wanted to do. They played their game plan. It's something too fancy, but it's really, really effective.
Everybody loose. Everybody on the London side really enjoying this, and City Gotham Knights have to wonder what they got to do. They were in the final last time in 2018. They ended up flying home disappointed, and it looks like they're going to go home disappointed again.
Yeah, but that's the great thing about sports. There's always the next tournament, and there's the next tournament. So London haven't been in a final for probably, I think, London haven't been in the Bingham Cup final since 2002, if my memory's serving me. So these guys have put a lot of work in to get here, and so they'll you just got to keep plugging away, and I'm sure New York will be lifting a trophy sometime soon. Well, let's not forget New York won it in Minneapolis in 2010 too, so these guys have got some good credentials and good silverware in their trophy cabinet already.
What's the old adage? You have to learn to lose before you can learn to win.
Absolutely.
Well, that one into touch on the full. London getting prepared for a huge celebration.
Yeah, and London have brought 4 teams here today, so this week, so there'll be a lot of people at this party.
Beyond the 50 minutes now, that ball knocked on directly into the hands of Sam Jenkins, who is back out of the sin bin.
Little opportunity maybe here for New York to go and get some points on the board. A bit of a consolation for them. They're looking well set up here, just in their own half.
Papademos driving forward. New York. They play this game with a lot of pride. That pass goes out wide, and a couple of nice moves back inside by Max Kraus.
New York still showing that what a dangerous side they can be when they put it together. It's tough times for them at the moment. Great break from the 10.
High tackle, Papademo offloads, and no further progress. Trixie King-Mana. There's Kraus on the far side, driving forward beyond the midfield stripe. Jenkins powers through. Kraus takes a shoulder there from Casper Swanson.
Kraus has been excellent since he came on. Really good player. Again.
King-Mana moving the ball out to the blind side. King-Mana with that forward pass. That ball's knocked on, and it goes out. They allowed London to play a bit of an advantage, but it went out, and it is over. If you thought there was a celebration for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, wait till you see what's going to happen in London tonight. The King's Cross Steelers have won the 2022 Bingham Cup with a 24-0 win over the New York City Gotham Knights.
And what a performance from that team. They really came out and executed their game plan brilliantly today. They're really pleased with that win, but not also to be really pleased with the manner of that win. They were dominant from start to finish. They never really looked like conceding any points, did they? And so that they have done a great week's work here.
In respect of your man of the match, we talked about Chris Norman earlier. Are you going to stay with that selection?
He scored 2 fantastic tries. He got two great kicks, but Perrin Tasker as well. He had an incredible game. How many tackles did he make? A load. He made some brilliant, strong carries. So for me, it's between those 2.
Well, men of the match. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I'm happy to split it if you are.
But this was a complete surprise. We expected a much closer match between these two sides. But London prevailed, and New York just really didn't come out with much right from the opening kickoff.
No, and I think that's because London deprived them of possession. They deprived them of that opportunity. You know, I think you've got to credit London here rather than get down on New York. New York is a fantastic team. They did brilliantly to get here, but the way that London played, they just didn't give them a chance. Didn't give them the opportunity.
Some great work by New York in this tournament. They have done a fantastic job representing, and here they come.
London have got all their other teams, all their supporters in a line now to congratulate their team. What a sight this is.
Running the gauntlet, as it were. And there you see teams congratulating each other, and it's like the rugby community all around the world. If you played rugby and you run into somebody else that's played rugby or plays rugby, you're having a pint.
Yeah, definitely. Rugby is a fellowship. Whether you're on the same team, whether you're on opposing teams, you know, you develop bonds with people that I don't think any other sport really does. And that's one of the most, you know, incredible things about rugby, that it's that fellowship, that partnership that you develop from playing this brilliant game.
And there are the London's King's Cross Steelers celebrating. We're awaiting the presentation of the Bingham Cup, and we can see it off in the distance as the rain starts to sprinkle. It held off Matt Whiteley right till we needed
perfect
it to.
timing, and just a great, incredible scenes out on the pitch. All the London players hugging each other. I think there's a lot of emotion out there. These guys have never won the Bingham Cup before. It's the first for London, so you know I'm very pleased for them. They've obviously worked hard to get themselves in Bingham Cup winning shape, and you know they've done a brilliant job today.
There is the Bingham Cup, first awarded in 2002, and it's a biannual celebration of gay and inclusive rugby around the world. And we're so happy that you came to Canada this time, Matt.
We have had an absolute blast. This tournament has been a fantastic exhibition, I think, of not just what rugby is about, but also what gay and inclusive rugby is about. You look at those scenes out there. This is guys who've worked so hard for each other for so many years to get here.
A 24-0 win over New York City Gotham Knights. The London King's Cross Steelers are the Bingham Cup champions for 2022. For Matt Whiteley and our entire Rogers TV crew, I'm Dan Mooney. Thanks so much for the company so long from the nation's capital of Canada.
Thank you very much.
Due to the length of the preceding program, we now join the regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Be separated when they're cooked. Now let me go and wash my hands before I do anything else. As I said, I